Hi class. I made an Avid one-pager about executive function and the three different parts of it that we need to have: a working memory, we need to have cognitive flexibility, and then this inhibitory self-control, which I feel is the hardest part. When I think back on my life, and if I wonder if I have developed these things properly as a child that could help me for the rest of my life, I can see I have a massive flaw or gap in that working memory. It's pretty bad. I have found out since returning to college as an older student, I have found out that I have ADHD. As you see, I fidget and stuff on the video. That's very normal. And learning to work with myself has been critical to have good jobs in the past, to be able to slow down when I have my son. And I took time to stay home with him and help raise him. And it makes me want to help him develop these three skills. They're so important. My working memory is pretty terrible. So here's my Avid one-pager that I made. This kind of looks like the art style of Miss Frizzle, this teacher who's African American here. And then my son helped me with a couple little points, and some things that we talked about together were having a working memory. I hear that one way to have a better one is to keep practicing and to jot things down so that it's at least put in your memory once. And then you can recall it from the notes you made or the list you made, so that can be helpful. And also the inhibitory control is so important, so the kids are kind to one another, so they think before they act, so they think things through before answering, so that they also show self-control when they're doing either homework or completing an assignment, and that they try to stick with it and learn patience. And then lastly, we have cognitive flexibility. So my son got upset about something, and I was able to tell him, remember how we need to have cognitive, which is our mind, flexibility. We need to be able to think something through and then act on it. So what could you have done? And so we talked about how he could tell me why he's upset, or how he could tell me something. So in my little drawing, I actually applied it to the teacher, some of the cognitive function that she could apply, the executive function that she could apply. So number one, she could be thinking, where's my phone, and not know where it is. She could next be thinking, it's not my break yet. I don't need to be on my phone right now anyway. And then later, it could be her lunch break. She's like, hey, I want some downtime. I want to hop on my phone. And then I asked my son how she could find her phone if she lost it, because that shorter term memory wasn't working. Her working memory wasn't working. And my son said, Jacques can call it, or Jacques can get in touch with her. And I was like, Jacques? He said, yes, Jacques. And so that's what I put down, that we could have a friend help us with something as well. So we're not alone. The classroom is a bunch of people working together. And I love the examples in the book where teachers ask students for help and they help guide the learning. It was so fun. This chapter is probably one of my favorites, and it's so applicable to all of us, not just the students. As teachers show self-control, or as teachers are able to work with students who are struggling, or who maybe aren't able to focus on something, but they're able to redirect them or let them use technology that's interactive. That helps me so much in my college education. I have a professor who you'll read a little bit and then you'll watch a YouTube video. And then he wants you to go to the textbook and either read or listen to it. And then you come back and you read it, literally just a few sentences that he writes to explain a concept. And then you watch a video or you read a document, or you go to nasa.org. It's very interesting. His class is great, and it keeps things interactive, which helps me remember it so well. So executive function, while it's something that students need to develop in children, I definitely could use the refresher myself. And I really appreciated this chapter and the learning that I was able to go through. And I look forward to applying it more often, especially after having made this Avid one-pager. I feel like I'm going to hang on to it and be able to remember how important it is to learn to wait, to learn to wait a turn, to learn to stick it out when you feel like switching things, but to make sure that you focus and get it done. I'm sure all of us could use that with our college studying. And I was grateful to learn a lot. And I was just wondering how some of you apply this in the classroom. How do you help teach kids to practice specifically that inhibitory control one, so that they are making good decisions